Hello and welcome to the EV Cafe Takeaway, a podcast focused on that zero emission future we all hope for. This will be a treat. We have been giggling already and slurping on tea, and I'm always joined by one of the other EV Cafe crew. And we're missing Paul Kirby today, but we do have JC. How you doing? How you doing, John?
I'm doing great because you're doing a very good Paul.
Oh, well, I've got for those of you watching on YouTube, I've got the glasses on. I've shaved my head specially for this episode.
Nice
That's
beard.
Fake news. Yeah, nice little scratchy beard. But it's not just about us, John, and not about Paul either. We are always joined by one of the wonderful, innovative pioneers of our industry. And this week, it is no exception. We have the wonderful Chris Bunce from Iveco. So come on then, give us your full job title, and then we can get to know more about the man behind the title in this week's episode.
So my job title at Iveco is Network Sales Manager for UK and Republic of Ireland for the light business line product. I'm responsible for the relationship with the dealers in the UK and Republic of Ireland, and also our sort of dealer key account.
And is that like vans, Chris? When you say
well,
light?
it's not just fans. You make it sound like very simple, don't you? It's basically it's our range, 3.5 ton up to 7.2 ton, chassis cab and vans.
Thank you, sir.
Electric and unfortunately diesel.
Oh, well, don't say unfortunately, but we will touch on that later. Am I detecting an awesome accent? Where is this accent coming from?
Well, it's a bit mixed these days because
I like it.
Born and bred Southend-on-Sea in Essex.
Nice. Southend. There you
Southend.
go. I got it.
Proper. And 3 years ago, made the decision to move up to wonderful Norfolk.
Oh, wow.
And I've been up here 3 years now and I love it. Absolutely love it.
Good.
What do you love about it, Chris?
I love it because it's a different pace of life. The people are so friendly. All the neighbours are great. The people who live on our estate are great. The people at the golf club are great. It's just very, very different to the very fast-paced, hectic life I lived for 50 years in Southend.
It's such a big move to just uproot the family and go somewhere else. And people say, moving house is one of the most stressful things that you'll ever do. And it should be like changing a job role in that you've seen something you think you could suit your family, but it just isn't. We've been blessed to work with the Iveco brand on the EV Cafe for quite some time now. And it always brings the fun. When I saw your name come up, I was like, pick me, I want to do this one. It's just an absolute pleasure. And don't, earlier you said about the whole diesel thing. We are in a transition. What's the kind of Iveco take on that?
We're in the transition. I think we're quite prominent in the transition. We've got new product coming out next year to support our current e-daily. We've got product obviously in our heavy business line just being launched currently. It's an exciting time, not without its challenges. I think everyone's been aware of the challenges that everyone's facing, but it's happening. Old people in the market like me who've been around many, many years, it's actually been quite difficult to embrace it. I think if I was 30 years younger, it would be just part of life, but it's been quite hard. And I think our dealer network have actually found it quite difficult, especially the sort of challenged age-wise like myself, have found it quite difficult to embrace it, but we've got to. And I've been on the journey for sort of 3 years now. Am I a subject expert and fantastic at electric like you guys? I'd like to think I'm not far off, but I think there's some people who are sort of living and breathing electric every single day who have just got that little bit more expertise perhaps than people that still, we've still got to sell an awful lot of diesel vehicles currently.
But we've got to be real, Chris. I mean, the reality is that small businesses, medium businesses, and even large businesses are still buying diesel commercial vehicles. And that's the ecosystem we all have to operate in. We can encourage people to move to electric, but if they're not ready, we need to be there to support them. And that's what Iveco does so well, because the complete range gives people options, and they are cleaner options. So if you take an Iveco diesel, Euro 6, that's significantly improved on some of the older legacy stuff that people are driving. We're moving in the right direction.
Sure. And, I think we've said before, John, I think at the CV show, Iveco have got to pick our battles. And our battles, we need to work in the areas that we're really, really strong, like the municipals, like your utilities. Is our Iveco Daily ready for the one-man band who's working round the town? Probably not currently. And I think that's why we're obviously bringing to market our new product with the Jolly range next year.
If you operate a fleet of cars or vans, you'll know electric is the future. Transitioning to EVs can a bit daunting, but with Europe Car, it's effortless. Our long-term EV rentals eliminate the upfront costs, contract commitments, and uncertainty. Instead, you'll get total flexibility, a wide choice of cars and vans, and Europe Car's expert support. So, make the switch without the stress and experience Europe Karma. Search Europe Car Business.
Do you know what? I was at the Road Transport Expo and bumped into you guys. And obviously you had your, Adam Bishop strongman there to help support the launch. I think it was a hydrogen truck, but I was slightly distracted by the fact that one of his arms was as big as my entire torso. But, very, very concerning. And we put this selfie up and it was amazing because when you have a brand ambassador like him or like us at the EV Cafe sort of celebrating clean, as John says, cleaner technology, does that strike a chord better with the people who you're looking to sell to?
I think it's been really good with Adam, the partnership with him. I think we're probably in our third year with Adam, and I've spent a fair bit of time at various events with him, and he's been a great ambassador for us, especially when you go back 2 years when we set the world record for towing. To have Adam there, and the video, when I saw the video come out with the way he did it, etc., it just made you proud to be part of it. And the relationship with Adam, I think, will grow over the future because it sort of cements the strength of our brand and the strength of Adam together.
He absolutely loves you. And I'll pass to John in a moment because I know John got to interview him on one of the rallies on his towing champion. And as part of that, we did this. He's so up for a challenge. That's the thing. He matches the Iveco brand really well because you both represent British strength. You both represent trust in the process because he's very open about how he gets to be that athlete that he is, and you guys are very open about your product roadmap and your pathway for going towards that cleaner emission future we all hope for. And I just love that combination. And we did the studio. It was very funny. I was not the creative genius. I wish I was, but we did the EPTO things just to demonstrate that you can power tools off your vehicles. And so we had Adam cutting through a log
that
and then the chainsaw.
George.
Again, another great personality.
He should be on stage, George, shouldn't he?
Mm.
He makes me laugh so much.
He
my face
earn
aches.
more
I
money,
can't cope.
to be fair, than he does, because he doesn't sell enough vehicles. No, to be honest, George is fantastic. He's almost like our second ambassador because some of the work that he's done, that stuff that he did with Adam, and then the stuff that he's done on the EV rallies, it's just like some of it's comedy gold, but it blends in really nicely because people want to see a bit of fun, don't they? And want to see people smiling. The industry's hard enough without people not having fun.
This is why Iveco are so good to work with, because you do recognise that people buy from people. It's a forgotten skill to be able to have a communication with a customer and to build a true relationship, not just you've got some money and you want what I've got. It's much deeper with you guys, isn't it? You work with businesses to understand what makes them tick, how they do what they do, to find the right solution for them.
And I think that's probably why I've probably stayed with Iveco for so long, because I've always been like a people person, not only in my work career, but also in my social life and my sports careers, which, I've been involved with for years. You've got to get on with people. What are you looking like that for, John?
We want to know more about the sports. Come on, hit us with it. Because do you know what? Before you begin, it's worth making an important correlation. I've long had this theory that people who are good at sport or interested in sport make fantastic employees or business people because it's about the tenacity. It's about the incremental improvements. And let's remind ourselves that sports people fail a lot. They certainly don't win every single thing they put their hand to. The weather's not always perfect out on the hills. So come on, tell us more about you. What's the sport that you're hiding?
Well, you won't believe this, but I'm probably one of the only people in the motor trade who hates motorsport. I've got no interest in motorsport whatsoever. Any sport that I'm involved with has to have a ball. So football, started playing football at the age of 5, played till I was 45, and then refereed for 5 or 6 years. Cricket, started playing cricket 6 or 7 years of age, played till I was 50. At a reasonable level, I like to think I was a pretty good cricketer. And then just decided over a couple of weeks, you know what, I'm getting too old for this cricket, and I was getting fed up with being abused by 21-year-olds on a Saturday afternoon. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to go and try my hand at golf. And I've been playing golf now for 5 years and absolutely love it. Just got back from Portugal. So I came back from Portugal especially for this podcast.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
What? I actually don't believe you, but okay.
No, I came back Tuesday. Tuesday.
And what? So I was thinking whilst you were speaking, ping pong, snooker, squash,
No.
tennis, not all balls.
Listen, snooker, I've played snooker. Pretty good at snooker as a kid, but you don't have time for it all. You know, I brought up 4 kids.
Oh, amazing.
You know, I've got 6 grandchildren, so I know I don't look old enough before you say it, John.
Sometimes the headlines...
No, you didn't, did you?
No, I didn't, because my mind's thinking. So sometimes the podcast name just comes out of nowhere, and Chris Bunce and a load of old balls does have a ring, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah.
But
what more did you expect?
You were talking very much about your career and having been with Iveco for a good long time, 30 years-ish.
No, not 30 years.
Did you not say 30?
No, I've worked in the motor trade for about 30 years.
Motor trade, 30.
It's a bit of a mixture of roles, both dealer and manufacturer. Right. So manufacturer, Volkswagen commercial vehicles, Renault and Iveco. So Renault yellow badge, so cars and vans. Mainly, I've always sort of steered towards commercial vehicles just because of my first job in the motor trade, which was working in a Fiat dealer in 1995. Wow. Where I walked in, managed to get a job as fleet sales manager. Thought, this is a bit glamorous. I fancy a bit of this company car. What happens? You turn up and you get plonked in an office with a Yellow Pages. And you know
People
what?
won't even know what the Yellow Pages are anymore.
But you know what? I had 5 or 6 great years doing that. And that really, you know, with the training that was given, and you sort of go back that amount of years, you used to get really, really good sales training and assistance. It was brilliant. I used to go on courses all the time, and I really sort of learned a lot from that and embraced them. And I think that's held me in good stead with my sort of people skills, with how to deal with people properly. You don't always get it right, do you? You always make mistakes, but generally I think it's that I've always said that if our business changes from people buy from people, we're in a bad place.
Yeah, absolutely. Were you always destined to be a salesperson?
No, because my career, well, I suppose in a way, yes, because my career started in the stock market. For 5 or 6 years. I got made redundant early 90s, and I thought I'd sort of be working up in London, and then I sort of drifted into the motor trade. So I guess the stock market probably was salesy because, again, it's people. You're dealing with people. Drifted into the motor trade, and I've earned a living from it, and most of the time I've quite enjoyed it.
You remind me of a film with Will Smith, In Pursuit of Happiness. Happiness deliberately spelt wrong, if you recall. And that's set in a similar, it's actually years and years ago, but he gets plonked in an office with a pen and a huge deck of numbers that he's supposed to work through. Now, I've always had this belief that people who are good in business, it's not about what they know, it's the way they think. And so in the film, he flips the book, goes straight to the back, and that's where the high profile clients live, because he knew he was good with people. And I suspect the motor trade kind of drew you in because you realize that you can turn what you learned in your educational career in the stock market into making sure that our roads are full of amazing, clean vehicles. I hope it inspires you, but you triggered something in me when you were speaking about the courses. You're absolutely right. Employers these days don't really encourage people to put their hands up to go on courses, we're recruited expecting to bring the knowledge to that short-term role, and then perhaps we are no longer suitable for the company. What are you doing at Iveco to nurture that next round, that new future who's going to support your workforce?
That's a worry for me currently, because I look at our age profile, certainly within our network and maybe in our team as well. And you think, where are we going to be in 20 years? It's difficult to say, will we need the amount of salespeople with all the technology that's coming on? You just don't know currently. But it is a worry for me, the fact that, I'm 55 now. I'm probably not going to be around in 10 years' time. Hopefully I'll be around, but not working.
Oh, gosh.
Not working. I'd like to think I'll be spending more time on the golf course in 10 years' time.
You will be.
So, it is a worry. And, I think companies, and Iveco are one of these, that need to look at proper apprenticeship programs, not only on, your technical, your vehicle maintenance side of things, but also throughout the business. So from a sales side, we need to be welcoming younger people and making it an attractive place to come and work. And I think if you look around, there's probably not too many manufacturers and not too many dealer groups that are actually doing that. I think people get on a merry-go-round and staff go from place to place, where I think we need to be really working on getting younger blood into the network and giving them a proper program that they work to over 2 or 3 years, like some sort of degree.
I really agree. It's interesting to me because apprenticeships are obviously awesome, because if you're not sure about paying for education beyond the stuff that's free, that works really, really well to get your foot on the ladder and all. Same with grad schemes, but these very structured sort of roles aren't what everybody always needs. Sometimes it's a mentorship, sometimes it's exposure. We were just up at Cenex with the EV rally, which is amazing. And walking through, I saw a robot dog when we were just off to go on stage, and started chatting to this incredible magnetic human who was happy to explain all of the sensor technology that they were trying to promote. And he rang me yesterday out of absolutely nowhere to say, this is my first job out of university. Really nice to make contact with you. Can you help me get into the sort of take my company into the EV space? And it dawned on me as I drove home that all it took me was a 7-minute phone call and a little chat on the way to stage. And that person was inspired by someone sort of older. Yeah. And that's okay. We've got a responsibility as people found with I've got 20 years plus, you've got 35 years, whatever, in our careers. It's now our turn to try and draw those people in, show them what's good about what we're trying to do. And John, I know you're so friendly and everybody absolutely adores you. Do you see a lot of this in your work, John? People reaching out to you?
Yeah, an awful lot. And I reach back. And I think that's the important thing, is that it's a two-way trade. I was going to ask Chris about mentoring, because clearly, you have the experience, you've walked the hard yards. Do you mentor people, and who was your biggest influence as you went through your career?
Great question.
To be fair, there's probably 2 or 3 people influencing my career. There's a guy, I don't know whether you probably know him, a guy who ran a company called TTL Consultancy going back to the 90s, a guy called Mike Budney.
If you had said Paul Kirby, I would have slammed the phone down at this point.
There was no danger of that, Sarah, don't worry.
No, we love him.
I love him as well. So anyway, Mike had a company called TTL Consultancy, which was basically, they provided staff to motor manufacturers to keep them off headcount. And I had 2 periods working with Mike. And he was one of these people that, and I'm sure he won't mind me saying this because he's now retired and out of the industry, so I don't need to worry about upsetting anyone. But he's one of these people that is like Marmite. And I just clicked with him from an early days when he was delivering a training course when I was with Fiat. And it turned out that over a period of time, we got closer and closer. We went on a couple of reward holidays, as you do. And he used to beat me at tennis and I used to beat him at other things. And very, very competitive, the both of us. And we just clicked. And then further down the line, he offered me a job to go and work for him. And I worked for him for a period of 7 or 8 years. And then I actually left under quite acrimonious, we basically had an argument when we left over the way that I'd resigned, etc. It didn't matter anyway. We moved on, and I never thought I'd, hear from him again. And then about 5-6 years later, we re-engaged, and I ended up working for him again. Now, for me, after what we went through, for us to put all our differences together, I had so much admiration for him that and we've worked for quite a period of years, and you know, he was so successful in his business and got to a point where he could retire, that yeah, he's probably the one that I really look up to. How do I say this without sounding like I'm crawling? This is a difficult one. Mike, I've worked with Mike now for 6 years. Mike's a really, really inspirational person. Challenging at times, and he knows that. But we get on, I'd like to think we get on really well, and our relationship works. And yeah, you know, for someone so young to be so knowledgeable, and he's got a memory of an elephant, never forgets a single thing, which catches me out at times, I might add. But you know, and he's just a workaholic, but he's inspirational because you almost strive to be at the level that he's working to. We've got very, very different skills, but it works. It works for us and has done for a number of years now. So, you know, he'd have to be up on the list just because of the time I've worked with him. Obviously, there's lots of other inspirational people in addition out of my work life, but, you know, those two not you, Sarah, sorry. There's a lot of other people, you know, in my home life, you know, my second wife, you know, we've been together 15, 16 years now. And without her being in my life, I wouldn't be in the place I am now. So yeah, there's lots of inspirational people that have sort of touched me over the years.
There's a really nice energy to your story. And by the way, the mic you're referring to is Mike Cutts, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah. Just checking. So what we like to do with these is, if you hear any inspirational people, please do link in with them and connect with them, because, you know, this is about spreading the love, spreading the energy. And you said that your second wife, and 16 years together is a really amazing period of time. And in that time, there would have been ups and massive downs and massive ups again.
Absolutely.
And whilst you were saying about that story, all I could think of was, you've got this lovely balance between what's clearly some thick skin and broad shoulders to kind of take these challenges on. And it's just been Mental Health Week. And we've been talking a lot, John and I, about the importance of having people around us. And she sounds like a wonderful support and powerhouse to you. And, you know, we wouldn't be human without those lows to meet the highs.
Absolutely. And a rock, you know, she spends probably more time with my children and grandchildren than I do, just because of work pressures. And who do they ring when they need something? They ring their stepmother.
Good.
And that's a nice thing. That's a nice thing in a way. But yeah, I think, you know, life's full, as you say, full of ups and downs. I've had good times, I've had bad times, but you get through the bad times. If you've got a good network of friends and family, you get through the bad times.
It's true, especially with relationships. I saw something this week, and it was a person who compared relationships to making pancakes. And they said, you know, the first one, you put it out and you think, it's not quite right. Pan's not hot enough. No, that's just not going to work for me. And it's all misshapen and a bit crap. And you throw it
eat it anyway. Oh, I always eat it.
Well, yeah, you got to go there, but you know, it doesn't quite. Then the second one, perfection. That's my experience of relationships.
I wouldn't disagree.
The risky business, out of the frying pan into the fire, quite literally.
So what you did there. Now then, what are you focused on, Chris, in terms of your driver, the thing that gets you out of bed in the morning? Is it sustainability? Is it the people that you work with? Is it Iveco and just hitting your targets? Is it a combination of those things? What drives you?
I think it's probably a combination of all of those things. I think obviously from a personal point of view, it's to maintain the lifestyle that I've got, because I think, you know, that's really important. But more importantly, I'd like to think that I care about the people I work with. You know, I work with, I've got 6 people reporting into me. I've got an awful lot of time for every one of those 6 people in different ways. They're all very, very different, which is great. And as a team, it works. I haven't had anyone leave my team since I've been managing them. So either they get too easy a time or despite all the challenges and trauma that we all go through, wherever we're working, we get through it as a team. So they're 2 things. Obviously, maintain a lifestyle, work with the guys that I, continue to work with the guys that I work with. But also, I do believe, and hopefully things will get easier. We've obviously got the takeover with Tata coming up with Iveco over the next year. So hopefully we will become a bigger, stronger, more formidable company. And it's exciting times. Things have been tough in the motor trade the last 2 or 3 years because we've gone from the madness of COVID, where we came out of COVID and really the only problem was how long's the customer going to have to wait for their vehicle, because they all wanted vehicles, to going back to pre-COVID times where everyone's fighting for what is available. So yeah, it's tricky currently, but I think certainly with the upcoming Tata takeover, I think we're going to become a stronger, much more formidable company that people will want to be part of.
It's an exciting time with Tata coming, and I was interested in what you were saying about your 6 people that work with you in your team. And it sounds to me that you're much more than a manager of those people, but you're actually a leader. And Tata coming along will give you an opportunity to even increase the size, scale, scope of your leadership. So you see the business growing, presumably, as a result of that investment?
I think it would need to. They're spending an awful lot of money on buying the stake in Iveco. When you look at what they paid a few years ago for Land Rover to what they're paying for Iveco, okay, you're a few years down the line, but it's a lot of money. So I'm sure those guys are looking to increase throughout the world Iveco's presence. Things are a little bit uncertain currently, but Iveco runs a lean ship in the UK. So I think for us, there's certainly going to be leadership opportunities, but I think there's certainly going to be growth opportunities for everyone who works for Iveco currently. And we've just got to stick at it for the next. It's always tricky, isn't it, when you've got takeovers?
Well, quite. I was going to say it's always a worry, because a wonderful environment that you've got to know and love and understand expands massively. But the good news is they already know what they're buying. They've done their due diligence, that's for sure. They're no fools. And it might even bring something I talk about a lot, which is a wider global lens. We're all a little guilty of sort of looking at our own country and Europe, but a big international takeover like that, it could be amazing. And as you say, career path. If we cast back to sort of late 90s, early 2000s, we used to look at literal career ladders. We used to look at where we could be and what that salary might be. Whereas now it's a lot more sort of sporadic and free for all, and you see an opportunity, you go for it. You call it a merry-go-round. I call it monkey bar. Sometimes you're lurching for the next one. You might not get it and you might fall down, but it's okay because we're so interconnected as an industry. There's usually another room for you. Someone will scoop you up. And your resilience stems from something way more than just your career and your wonderful family life. And did you grow up in Southend-on-Sea? Tell us a little bit about the man before you were a career.
Yeah, so it's a bit of a sad story, not sad story,
oh, no.
because it's life. It's life. Born and bred Southend. Unfortunately, I lost my mother when I was 14.
Oh,
so that
so
was
young.
quite hard. That was a
young.
hard thing to. That was a hard thing to take at the time. But I think that's probably made me resilient. And probably a little bit, I get quite, quite emotional about things, where perhaps some other people are a little bit harder, but I've always, I've had that from a young age, and I probably empathise with people a little bit more when they have their own problems. I'm sometimes accused in my personal life of being quite loud and aggressive. I don't think I am, but I think it's probably after I've had a couple of beers.
Sort of freezing.
But born and bred Southend, and you brought up four kids. I think the eldest is 33, the youngest is 27, so quite a short period of time. And yeah, it's I don't miss Southend one little bit.
That's because you're in Norfolk, loving it.
Best decision I ever made. So yeah, good.
I love listening to these stories about people because, you know, as a female leader, particularly in this EV space, and say I've climbed to the career ladder like everybody else, but, you know, it can be tricky sometimes. And John, you're very patient with me on this one. But if you're someone who does have thick skin, yes, I do. But I'm also very open, very sensitive, very compassionate. And that can sometimes be misconstrued as someone that doesn't make a good leader. And I couldn't disagree more. And you're just proving it to me now. You've got 6 people in your team who look up to you, got a strong family unit
well,
who
I hope
clearly
they look up to me.
you. Well, it depends how tall you are. John tends to find people do look up to him, but I'm quite small. But I mean it. There's strength in knowing yourself. There's not strength in pretending to be someone else. That's a very thinly veiled veneer that people have. And I do believe so strongly that you'll be on that golf course before you know it. The next few years are going to whistle by for you.
Hopefully not too quick. Yeah, and I think the other thing with with your team is I think everyone's got their skills and they understand that I'm not the best at some things and better at other things. So, but as a group of people, it works and we make it work. As I say, we have our challenges. We get through the challenges. We don't get things right all the time. So it's just the way life is. We you know, it clicks. It clicks with us.
One of the things that you do get right is your vehicles. And you touched on it very briefly right at the beginning with a name that won't be familiar to people yet, the Jolly. Talk to us about the product range that you've got now and you've got coming.
Just on electric?
No,
you're
right the way across the line. What are you?
I'm only going to talk about light business line because I don't want to steal the thunder of any of the guys who work in our medium and heavy business line. So product lineup. I think most people are familiar with our diesel product lineup. We go from 3.5 tons to 7.2 tons. Chassis cab and van. Probably one of the unique things about us. We also do exactly the same on the electric. So 3.5 ton up to 7.2 ton. Brilliant. Ladder frame chassis, different batteries, etc., etc. I could go on all day. I'm not going to. And then, we've been introduced to the Jolly, which will be coming to the UK next year. So the Jolly is Iveco's first vehicle in the 2.7 to 3.5 ton. So in that sector. So we're going to be taking Stellantis product, rebadging it Iveco. However, we will have some USPs. So we understand that we're going to need some USPs. Well, we hope to have some USPs. We're working on it. We're working on it currently. I don't know whether I should be saying all this. It might need to be cut out. So we're working. We understand that we're going to market with a product that is very similar to what 3 or 4 other brands have. So we've got to think a little bit outside the box and probably try to leverage on our truck mentality. So things like you look at the other brands and have they got the 24-hour opening in their workshops? No, they haven't. Things like that. So we probably need to have 3 or 4 USPs. The other thing we're going to have to do with our with the product is go to the people we are currently selling to and offer them the service that we're offering them currently on the daily, but also on the other product where they may not be getting a service that, you know, could be as good as what we can do. So we'll have to pick our battles with it. For the first couple of years, our aspirations on volume aren't massive, but we'll see how that progresses. But it's quite an exciting product. So we're taking the Super Jolly, which is the equivalent to Fiat Ducato, and we're taking the Jolly, which is the equivalent to the Fiat Scudo. Quite a limited range, but we think we've picked it so that it will go into the sectors that we need.
Sarah, are you Jolly or Super Jolly?
I'm super jolly. Do you know what? For the sake of the viewers, I think you should Google this. I just Googled it as well. And everything you've said is publicly available information, Chris. So don't worry about that. Jolly good show. Jolly good show.
When the name came out, I was like head in hands.
Why?
But when you look back at the history, and there is some link years ago from memory with Lancia, so it does sort of go back to the Italian roots. So I'll give them that one, even though I didn't at the time. But it's just a strange name for the UK market. But I think it'll catch on. You know, I think it'll catch on, and I think we'll do well with the product. But again, like the eDaily, we'll just have to pick our battles on who we're talking to, and hopefully we will sort of be able to not only go there with an eDaily, but go there with a Jolly and Super Jolly to complete their electric vehicle journey.
Exactly. We had Brett Houghton.
Oh, that was nice for you.
Oh, I love Brett. He came on. I'll tell him you said that, as will our millions of viewers.
He'll no doubt be listening to this or watching it at some point.
Well, Brett came on our webinar, and he's, of course, full range, like full product range. And so it's nice to speak to him. But what we've made very good use of is your eDaily EPTO, the electric power takeoff, because as someone who's only been in the kind of commercial van world for 10 years of my 20 plus year career, it's really interesting to me to see how these workhorses, what I call the lifeblood of our country. I mean, I'm sure you realize this, but there are 7 million self-employed registered people just in the UK alone. And a significant, probably 5 million of those rely on a van every single day. And the EPTO on that means you can have crew, cab sort of support, people who are workforce support. We've been using it though on our shows, and I'm holding this for the viewers. This is a lightning bolt that I stole from Carfest, where we had it's very chewed on the ends because I love holding it. We had Did
you have the box?
We had the eDaily. No, well, we've had both. So it started last year we had the eDaily as our stage, powering the phone recharging station, which was amazing. Our microphones, everything all came off this van. And then when we went to CV show, which was April time, I think, John will correct me on that,
yes,
maybe May, I can't remember. It's all a blur. We had the box, and it was just phenomenal because we're sat inside this thing on stage.
Don't I know it, Sarah? I had to spend 3 hours putting up the stairs so John could get up there without falling over.
And it worked. And what a weapon that is. I drove it. I was lucky enough to drive it.
You drove it, yeah.
And I'm not somebody who's experienced in vehicles of that size. And my goodness, that is a brilliant vehicle. I took it down the motorway, and it just did the job around the country lanes. Still no problem at all. It really does do a job. And you've got that range that says, if you want to go internal combustion engine, can. If you want to go electric, you can. You want small, medium, large, very large, can. Iveco can do it.
I know, and I actually, this is a funny story, Sarah. I've not mentioned this to anyone, but you'll like it.
Oh, no. Okay.
I actually passed John on the M40. On his way to I think you're on the M40 on your way to Millbrook. It was like driving Miss Daisy. So he could have driven. He could have probably driven the speed he was doing. He could have driven 500 miles in that vehicle.
You want to get yourself an efficiency world record, John? It sounds like you're absolutely prime.
But the concentration on his face was fantastic.
You're adorable.
But I do agree. You know, the 7 ton for a vehicle that big. It's just like driving a car, isn't it?
Yeah, it's brilliant.
And once you get your head over the size, it's just so easy.
I'm the same. Once you get the head over the sides, I'm very easy. I think the thing is that I was looking after that asset. You entrusted me with that thing, and it's important that we do look after them. And I know that drivers do become very attached to their vehicles, don't they? They love them.
They certainly do. And I think one of the things that we've had, and I've mentioned it at the CV show, John, and we had a discussion when I was up on stage with you guys, was about education and educating drivers. And it's something that we've learnt through mistakes over the last 2 to 3 years, that actually we need to spend time with the people that are actually going to be driving these electric vehicles before they take them. because a lot of the time it's their first experience of electric. And a lot of the time, if they can make it go wrong, they will. So our network and my team especially are spending quite a lot of time going around when people buy an e-daily, or they buy a battery e-dailies, spending a fair bit of time doing like rollout days and handover days. And we're seeing the benefit of that time already. So it's something that we'll be continuing with, and the experience of the companies who have had that time invested at the start has been much better than people who are just handed keys and don't get too much of a walk around the vehicle and these are the driving modes. This is this. It's made a big difference because, as I say, if they can make it go wrong in their first experience, they will.
Yeah, they've got to have that confidence piece. And what you guys do so well, speaking of George, you're going to have to pay him if he comes up again in conversation, but he was part of the Europa EV rally.
I'm amazed he's allowed a passport, to be honest.
I'm amazed we didn't get arrested as well. If you picture the scene, we had the finishing flags, and as John knows, we co-host together this one. I was flying solo, and we had to do a sort of welcome as you come in with this flag. He floored that electric vehicle, did a wheel spin, hurtled through the finish line, and we all just love Team Iveco because you just bring this van can do anything, and as I said, it is the absolute workhorse of the industry. It really is.
Some of those videos that him and Tyler put together.
Tyler, honestly, the two of them.
They're like the two Ronnies, aren't they?
Yes, and they were of absolute pleasure and a joy. And I haven't told them this, but a top secret, I'm saying live on air, I've started my HGV license.
Have you?
Yes.
Fantastic.
I have a friend in the village who trains people to drive trucks, and I'm nearly at the point of being able to pass my theory. So I just need to find £3,000, just a sniff, and then I'll be able to do the full thing. But the reason I'm doing that is because I just feel it's important that the UK has people that can drive vehicles. John, you just volunteered to drive that thing up the motorway. I want to be able to do that. I want to be a useful human.
He could drive it because he's old.
Oh, is that what it is? Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay. Well, Chris,
like me, he's got the grandfather rights.
Oh, I see. Oh, wow. Fine.
But
well, I'm
you know what you're
you.
saying about HGV?
Yeah.
Something we've invested a lot of money internally with our team over the last year. So everyone who works on our heavy business line can now drive a big truck. Now, I think that's brilliant.
Me too.
Previously, we didn't have it. We've even got, do you know Jess in marketing?
Yeah.
No, I want to. I don't.
John does. Jess is wonderful. She can drive one as well.
Oh,
she's gone through the training. She can drive one as well. She does need a step ladder to get up into it, but she can drive it, which is fantastic. And that's a big investment from the company to get, 20 people or however many it is through the HGV. And Sarah, if you're doing that, good on you. Get it done.
Thank you. Self-funded. No, I do know Jess. It's Jessica
Main.
Main. Thank you. Yeah, she's got blondie hair. Yeah, I do know her. Now, Chris, we have a very fun little closing tradition, and Paul Kirby will watch this back and he will fire me from the EV Cafe because he usually has a beautiful 3D printed magic wand complete with lightning bolt, but all I've got is lightning bolt. And your job is to take this lightning bolt, which is actually a gift from me to you because it helps you. You didn't take it.
How do I do it? Just go like that?
Just pretend. Just pretend. Just grab it. Yeah. Ready?
Yeah.
Here it comes. And this wonderful corrugated cardboard lightning bolt will give you a wish. One beautiful magical wish for our industry or your life or the world in general. If you had this magic wand in your hand, what would you do with it? What is your magic wand wish, Chris?
I've got so many wishes, to be fair.
Go for it.
Lots and lots and lots of wishes. But to be honest, I think I'd certainly like over the next 2 to 3 years there to be some real stability in the market so that everybody is working towards one goal. At the moment, we're just like moving around too much, moving around from one problem to the next or one crisis, or the market's down and we haven't got enough production. We've got too much production. You've got no components. So just a bit of stability for 2 or 3 years for the whole market just to reset. and just to make everyone feel a little bit more comfortable in the environment they're working in. I think from a personal point of view, just carry on enjoying life, and everyone that I know is fit and healthy. My other wish is, obviously, we spoke before we went on air about my son. Hopefully that continues on the right track.
You're a good man, Charlie Brown. One of the things I love about you, Mr. Bunce, is that when we do our events and we get together, there's never a silence. You've always got a story. You've always got some anecdote.
Too much, yeah.
No. You are somebody who is a joy to be with. And today is proof that we have a script that we sometimes work to with set questions. And precisely.
Which I've ruined completely.
That's the point. You are somebody who we can just talk to, and you understand people and how to answer questions, when to stop. You're just brilliant, and it's been wonderful to spend 48 minutes with you doing this. Thank you so much.
Listen, I wouldn't have done it if I didn't have an awful lot of time for what you guys all do with the EV CAF. I think it's a fantastic initiative that you guys have all got behind. You've got a few dodgy people involved, like Mr. Berry, and I've known him too long.
What a legend. We love Mr. Berry.
I was glad he wasn't on the call this morning. But no, you guys do a great job. I'm sure the partnership that we've got and the way we work with you guys will hopefully continue for a long time going forward.
Thank you.
And yeah, it's always good when we meet up, and I hope we do that many more times, more times to come.
Cheers, Chris. Thank you.
It's been absolutely wonderful speaking to you. And if you've enjoyed hearing these stories of more than just the job title, that's what we try to do. That's our USP, trying to get behind the job title and see these wonderful people that have devoted themselves to our industry and improving what is ultimately clean air, then check out our channel, because we do have lots of episodes for you to enjoy. But this one has been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us on this week's EV Cafe Takeaway. You can start recording now, John.